Hey everybody, it's your boy Pee Wee back with another video. Today we're going to be talking about the new manhwa that has started releasing. It's called I Received a Request from the Villain Boss. This is a child care slash like child main character comic. It starts out with our main character here. Her name is Brody, and she's basically got sent out by she's lives in an orphanage, and her and like fellow orphans get sent out every day to basically beg and like act like beggars to like people in order to bring back money to the orphanage. uh as you can see here, they're going out, and she decides we should go ask that person for some, and and then they do their like begging and they earn the money, and we find out pretty early on that she has an ability to be able to see through things. It gets referred to as like clairvoyance, x-ray vision, whatever you want to call it. It goes by different names in this comic. It starts out as x-ray, then it goes to clairvoyance. um, but essentially she has this like x-ray ability. She was basically spent her whole life in this orphanage, and the orphanage director basically uses her ability to bring in money to the orphanage. And the orphanage treats them like garbage, giving them like one blanket regardless of the weather, and like abuses them and whatnot. So she's basically pretty desperate to um essentially, take care of the other kids, not go hungry, take care of herself. And she walks all the way to get some like bread from a bread store who usually gives them bread, ends up being closed, which is where she ends up running into the lord of like the city slash the one of the main characters of the comic, which is like the villain boss. Like, it's him. Basically what he does is he offers, asks if she wants to work with him, basically using her clairvoyant ability for him and like his guild. In this world there is like adventure guilds and stuff. um I mean, there's the focus isn't as much on it as it is on our main character, but there's guilds. He's a guild master, a big boss type thing, and so he offers, asks her, wants to work with him, offering, basically money and food, and basically taking care of her and like getting her set for life. Which she agrees. I do like the art. The art's like, especially like with her, like the cute little expressions. Like you have this one here when she receives more bread, she gets all happy. If we go to another one, when she's pouting, it has like the pouty expression, and then it has funny little scenes like her, like basically we know when she got out of the carriage, like her shoe fell off, and like that's what she was pouting about. Like he's like, are those even shoes? And so basically, he orders his subordinate to take off his shoes, and then she's standing in these big shoes, and then even in this you can see her still in the big shoes. It's got like a good comedic cute little vibe to it. I mean, I don't know, I've read a few of the chapters, and I've been enjoying it so far. But it seems like it's going to be mainly like a child care slash child main character comic, where she becomes a part of this guild and uses her x-ray vision slash her clairvoyant ability to either help out around with the guild, probably complete guild missions, and stuff like that. Like the first request of his is basically, an old man basically said, in one door is all of his like money in 10 billion libra, and libra is like 10 times as much worth as like normal gold is. And then the other room is a basically rigged to explode and destroy everything. So her first job from him is basically to find the safe behind the door and not the one with the explosives. And that's where this basically comes up to. And that's where we're at. At least that's where I've read up. This is only chapter 3. I mean, I don't want to read like get too deep into all the chapters. Like that's something I want you to experience yourself. If you want me to do like chapter reviews and stuff like that in the future, let me know. I can definitely work on that. But usually these like new comic videos, I read like the first chapter or two, and then I give you like my first impression slash review of like the first couple of chapters. But ultimately, I liked it. I think I think, like I said, like it has like the cute little expressions, like the cute little scenes, the funny scenes as well, like her standing in these massive shoes. Um, but overall, I think the art seems decent. He does seem out of place in this world, honestly, like because when you're thinking of like a fantasy world, like this doesn't usually look like what your typical main character in a fantasy world looks like. Like this seems like a more like modern type of like setting main character. But I mean, honestly, I like it. I like the design. I do. So I don't know. I'm curious to see where the relationship goes moving forward. Because like I said, she is a child. She's like 5 or 7 years old. He basically takes her in and becomes her guardian. So, I'm curious as to see, how good of a guardian he becomes, how the dynamic between them will continue to improve, and basically just see. I hope to see, our main character here who is struggling and living a not so great life, actually um turn her life around. And like there was a scene where she was starving for 3 days and she was like pleading to like God, and like give me like help me out, like that's literally this scene where she's like, she's sitting here pouting. She's like, she's hungry, she's starved for like 3 days, and she's like, when like she didn't even do anything wrong, like she's been good, and it's I hope the best for her, I really do. um, that's basically all I wanted to talk about in this video today. If you guys liked, leave a like, leave a sub. I hope to see you guys more in the future. I'm going to continue making these videos, and I hope to continue to grow and, sharing these videos and sharing my love with comics with more and more people. But that'll be it for this one, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.